What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery? Just to give you an idea, Proust's reply was, to be separated from Mama. I think that the lowest depth of misery ought to be distinguished from the highest pitch of anguish. In the lower depths come enforced idleness, sexual boredom and/or impotence. At the highest pitch, the death of a friend, or even the fear of the death of a child. Where would you like to live? In a state of conflict or a conflicted state? What is your idea of earthly happiness? To be vindicated in my own lifetime. To what faults do you feel most indulgent? To the ones that arise from urgent material needs. Who are your favourite heroes of fiction? Denis Barlow, Humbert Humbert, Horatio Hornblower, Jeeves, Nicholas Salmanovich Rubashov, Funish the Memorious, Lucifer. Who are your favourite characters in history? Socrates, Spinoza, Thomas Paine, Rosa Luxemburg, Leon Trotsky. Who are your favourite heroines in real life? The women of Afghanistan, Iraq and Iran, who risked their lives and their beauty to defy the foulness of theocracy. Ayan Hashi Ali and Azana Fizi as their ideal feminine model. Who are your favourite heroines of fiction? Maggie Tulliver, Dorothea, Becky Sharp, Candy, O, Bertie's Aunt Dahlia. Your favourite painter? Goya, Otto Dix. Your favourite musician? J.S. Bach, Bob Dylan. The quality you most admire in a man? Courage, moral and physical. Anima, the ability to think like a woman. Also a sense of the absurd. The quality you most admire in a woman? Courage, moral and physical. Anima, the ability to visualize the mind and need of a man. Also a sense of the absurd. Your favourite virtue? An appreciation for irony. Your least favourite virtue, or nominee for the most overrated one? Faith, closely followed, in view of the overall shortage of time, by patience. Your proudest achievement? Since I can't claim the children as solely mine, being the dedicatee of books by Salman Rushdie and Martin Amis, and poems by James Fenton and Robert Conquest. Your favourite occupation? Travel in contested territory, hard-working, writing and reading when safely home, in the knowledge that an amusing friend is later coming to dinner. Who would you have liked to be? Prometheus, Oscar Wilde, Émile Zola. Your most marked characteristic? Insecurity. What do you most value in your friends? Their continued existence. What is your principal defect? Becoming bored too easily. What to your mind would be the greatest of misfortunes? Loss of memory. What would you like to be? One who understood music and chess and mathematics, or one who had the courage to bear arms? What is your favourite colour? Blue, sometimes red. What is your favourite flower? Garlic. What is your favourite bird? The owl. What word or expression do you most overuse? Rereading a collection of my stuff, I was rather startled to find that it was perhaps. Who are your favourite poets? Philip Larkin, Robert Conquest, W. H. Auden, James Fenton, W. B. Yeats, Chidiock Titchbourne, G. K. Chesterton, Wendy Cope. What are your favourite names? Alexander, Sophia, Antonia, Celeste, Liam, Hannah, Elizabeth, Wolfgang. What is it you most dislike? Stupidity, especially in its nastiest forms of racism and superstition. Which historical figures do you most despise? Stanley Baldwin, the Ayatollah Khomeini. Which contemporary figures do you most despise? Henry Kissinger, Osama bin Laden, Joseph Ratzinger. Which events in military history do you most admire? Thermopylae, Lepanto, the defence of Little Round Top at Gettysburg, the mutinies in the German army in 1918 and the German General Staff in 1944, the Royal Navy's Arctic convoys. Which natural gift would you most like to possess? The ability to master other languages, which would have hugely enhanced the scope of these answers. How would you like to die? Fully conscious, and either fighting or reciting, or fooling around. What do you most dislike about your appearance? The way in which it makes former admirers search for neutral words. What is your motto? Allons travailler. This more imperative version of get on with it is annexed from Émile Zola, though E.M. Forster somewhat overextended it by enjoining us to get on with your own work and behave as if you were immortal. Though this is only a party game, which is the form in which Proust was twice persuaded to play it, it can be revealing. Reviewing my own answers, I, at any rate, can see where I give away more of myself than might be obvious. Take the answer to the question about the principal defect. I used also to play the game of, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? When others chose for me, I was quite frequently a fox. Lately, however, there have been quite a few nominations of badger. This is not merely a question of my becoming stouter and more grizzled. It is the downside of what I consider one of my happier skills as well. In other words, I would often rather have an argument or a quarrel than be bored, and, because I hate to lose an argument, I am often willing to protract one for its own sake rather than concede even a small point. Plainly, this unwillingness to give ground, even on unimportant disagreements, is the symptom of some deep-seated insecurity, as was my one-time fondness for making teasing remarks, which I amended when I read Anthony Pole's matter-of-fact observation that teasing is an unfailing sign of misery within, and as is my very pronounced impatience. The struggle, therefore, is to try and cultivate the virtuous side of these shortcomings, to be a genial host while only slightly whiffled, for example, or to be witty at the expense of one's own weaknesses instead of those of other people. I am often described to my irritation as a contrarian, and even had the title inflicted on me by the publisher of one of my early books. At least on that occasion I lived up to the title by ridiculing the word in my introduction to the book's first chapter.